U.S. President Joe Biden is set to deliver his State of the Union address on Tuesday, setting the tone for his relationship with the new Republican-dominated Congress and a possible re-election bid. The annual speech, which reached more than 38 million viewers last year, according to Nielsen, could deliver Biden his largest television audience of the year. It gives him a chance to shape public perceptions and to tout his accomplishments. A bipartisan infrastructure bill, progress on inflation, gun safety, and strong job growth, milestones that don't seem to be showing up in his lackluster approval ratings. Nathaniel Burkhead is a political science professor at Kansas State University.
So, whereas in previous decades, if the economy was doing well, the president would be rewarded, and if the economy was doing poorly, the president would be punished, we're in a new era where if the economy is doing well, it doesn't change his approval ratings. If the economy is doing poorly, it doesn't really change his approval ratings because Democrats are going to back Biden and Republicans are going to attack Biden irrespective of the policy objectives, irrespective of the economic factors, and so on. And so that makes it a very challenging era for him to try to point to legitimate policy victories and make a convincing case for that, given that so few people are willing to be persuaded.
The speech gives Biden an opportunity to shore up support within his own Democratic Party, where some are concerned about his age. Biden turns 80 in November, and if re-elected, would be 82 at the start of a second term. But the setting, in front of a joint session of Congress, doesn't necessarily play to Biden's strengths.
Oratory factor is certainly an important skill, right? Reagan had it, Clinton had it, Obama had it. But effective oratory is not critical to be an effective president. For the State of the Union address, I expect him to talk about the fact that while the economy is doing well, unemployment is at record lows, people are still dealing with inflation. People are still hurting. And so I expect him to strike that tone because that's an aspect that he does well at. He's not good at soaring oratory, but he does a good job at evoking a personal connection.
Biden will undoubtedly highlight some of his guests in the audience. This year, they will include the mother and stepfather of Tyree Nichols, the man who was fatally beaten by Memphis police officers, and Brandon Say, who was called a hero by authorities for disarming a gunman who shot 11 people dead during a celebration of the Lunar New Year in Monterey Park, California.
Competition for the best in artificial intelligence, or AI, is heating up. Google parent Alphabet on Monday announced plans to launch Bard, an artificial intelligence chatbot service. Bard will be released to test users before being released to the public in the coming weeks. Powering Bard is Lambda, Google's AI that can generate prose so human-like that a company engineer last year called it sentient, or able to perceive or feel things, a claim the technology giant and scientists widely dismissed. This news follows recent statements by Microsoft that it aims to infuse AI into all its products following the launch of the explosively popular ChatGPT, the chatbot sensation which can generate articles, essays, jokes, and even poetry in response to prompts. Microsoft is an investor in and partner with ChatGPT's maker OpenAI. It has been rated the fastest growing consumer app in history. Alphabet chief executive Sundar Pichai said Google also plans to add AI-powered features to its search engine to synthesize information to answer complex queries. Pichai said Google will give tools, first powered by Lambda and later by other AI technology, to web developers, creators, and enterprises starting next month.
Predicting a so-called soft landing for the U.S. economy, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen on Monday said she saw a path forward in which the country avoids a recession even as inflation comes down significantly. Fueling her optimism, a red-hot labor market, which is producing hundreds of thousands of new jobs a month. Speaking on ABC's Good Morning America, Yellen said, quote, "You don't have a recession when you have 500,000 jobs and the lowest unemployment rate in more than 50 years. So what I see is a path in which inflation is declining significantly and the economy is remaining strong." While Yellen acknowledged that inflation remained too high, she noted its decline over the past 6 months and said it could drop significantly further given measures adopted by the Biden administration, including steps to reduce the cost of gasoline and prescription drugs. The U.S. Federal Reserve has also been on an urgent campaign to bring price pressures under control, raising interest rates aggressively over the past year in an attempt to bring down runaway inflation. Despite the surge in rates, which has led to concerns about a possible recession, U.S. Labor Department data released last week showed job growth accelerated sharply in January, with non-farm payrolls up by 517,000 jobs and the unemployment rate dropping to a 53.5-year low of 3.4%. But all bets are off on the economy if Congress fails to raise the U.S. debt limit, said Yellen, who warned that failure to do so would, quote, produce an economic and financial catastrophe. The U.S. government hit its $31.4 trillion debt ceiling in January, prompting the Treasury Department to warn that it may not be able to stave off default past early June.